Alright, so a while back I made a document called Thoughts, and I want to explain what it is and how it works and why you need to create one right now, because in case you're not already using this document will make your brain work better. It helps my memory, it helps me stay organized and focused, it helps me remember everything that matters, and it just helps me be a person in general. So go get a coffee and let's talk about it. Alright, so imagine this piece of paper is your brain when you wake up. One after one, thoughts are gonna come into your head. Stuff like, I'm hungry, my head hurts, I'm never drinking again, I should check if I still have my wallet. Oh shit, I have to finish that paper tonight. Oh boy, a new episode of John Oliver. Now, have you heard the thing about our memory, our brains only having capacity for 6 things at a time, right? So if someone tells you the phone number, it's going to be difficult to remember immediately if it has more than 6 digits. So our brain has this limited capacity. So imagine if you want to put on more thoughts here, right? Let's say I need to call mom. Well, that's 7. And so this is not exactly how your brain works, but just go with me here. So that being 7, that means one of these thoughts are gonna get erased. Now some of them are gonna go away temporarily, like I'm hungry, we don't need that right now, that's not important. So it's gonna be erased. There, now it's gone. Now this is what your brain looks like. And basically we keep this up, we keep doing this thing where we keep 6 things or whatever relevant things on the top of our minds right now, the things that grab your attention. Those are the ones that are up here. But what about the important ones? Because what about this one? I'm never drinking again. I bet you've had this thought before, and I bet you have been drinking since. And not that that's bad, but isn't it weird that we promise ourselves something and then that promise, that thought, that idea just goes away? And what's frustrating is if you encounter an idea or a problem that you have encountered before but never did anything about. So say that's the 3rd time you've had a hangover this year. Maybe it's time to do something about it. Maybe it's time to quit drinking or get a new hobby or get new friends. But if we keep living like this, it's just gonna get erased. It's just gonna get erased because it's not gonna get stored properly in your memory. But there's a way to do that, and that's what the document is for. So this is what my document looks like. It's called Thoughts. I should write this down somewhere. Basically, every time you say that in your head, I should write this down somewhere. You should write it down somewhere, and it should be here. And so the way it works is every time I hear something that I want to write down, if it's a quote from a book, an idea from a video, a flaw that you learned about yourself, a habit you should learn or get rid of, thoughts that bothered you, thoughts that made you happy, and just generally ideas or thoughts where you thought, I should write this down. It's that simple. You just write it down every time and you keep it all in this one document. You have to make a document that's accessible on all your devices, on your phone and your computer, anywhere you are. If you're in a train or you're at home, you need to be able to access this document and write it down. And this isn't a diary or journal. You don't keep dates necessarily. What I do is I will divide it by a month, maybe week. And every time I see a video, usually, that has an idea I don't want to forget, I go here, I make a new entry, newest on the top, and I just type it in. So I use Google Docs just because it's accessible on all devices. And I don't use paper because paper gets lost, and the point here is to keep all your ideas. But there are some rules and some guidelines that I will suggest you. So number 1, no editing except to clarify or extend a previous thought, an original thought. So knowing if this thought entered your mind again can be useful. So if it does come back, the same idea, you should make a separate entry, because that way you know it's important to you. If it's a quote that inspired you twice, it's pretty notable. Number 2, you should write with no restrictions. So you should write the thought down until you feel satisfied. You don't need to keep it short. You can write for as long as you want. And you don't even need to finish the thought. Because as soon as you go into editing mode, that's when you don't write as efficiently, and you start to and you can start to forget what the idea was in the beginning. Number 3, this isn't a diary. Don't write everything down, only the stuff that matters, the stuff that impacts you. But one thing you should keep in mind is, be sure to mention why you thought or felt this way when you wrote it down, why you thought this quote was motivating, or why you thought this idea was good. Why? Because otherwise, you might not be able to relate to it again. If you look back at it in a month, you won't realize why that was so impactful to you back then. And number 4, go back every Sunday, sit down with a cup of coffee and take a look at what impacted you last week. And do the same thing at the end of each month. This might be the most important reading of your life because it's about you and it's about your thoughts. And if you don't already have this document, please go make it right now. Try it for a week. And I promise you, you'll be thinking much better, and you'll be able to go back in a couple of years and look at what you thought back then. You know, that would be interesting. So yeah, thanks for watching. I don't have a outro or anything, so I'll just slender out of the frame like this until I'm completely gone.